to the Gransberry Chronicles Weekly Pick'em Week 3. I'm your girl, the Gransberry, aka the Stadium Queen, and I got my boy D.Jones tonight on my right. What up, D.Jones?
What's popping?
Look, our boy Coach Pat, he's in a small entanglement and
For sure.
business entanglement for sure. And he's gonna join us a little bit later or not. We don't
Or
know,
not.
but don't hold it against him. We got his picks. He's still in last place, like he knows the best anyway. Shout out to last season's winner, Gentry. You right down at the bottom with them, holding strong with those taking chances and picks. But I got a few things I want to note. So excluding all hosts, shout out to Carlton Berry. He was this week's winner. He wasn't the winner overall. That would go to the Stadium Queen. I won week 2.
Leader,
And
leader, leader.
well,
Ain't nothing
I
over till
won.
the end of the season.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was very specific. I said I won week 2. Those are
Fair
facts.
enough. Fair
Those
enough.
are
Fair
facts.
enough.
Those are facts.
Well, well, since it's a total score. You know, yeah, you're
Your
right.
score is less than mine.
It is less. It is
Okay.
less. And
Okay.
we was tied last week, so you definitely won this week.
Okay.
For sure. For
So
sure.
so moving right along with that, I also want to talk about, I had a little adventure this weekend. I jotted off to Denver in hopes of seeing a great game. It wasn't a great game. I guess the only way it'll be a great game is it ends in a win. But of
That's
course,
not necessarily true.
my,
Not
my
necessarily true.
not necessarily. Okay, that's a fair point. But of course, as we all know by now, the Texans did not beat the Broncos. The Broncos got their win column due to us and a horrible fourth quarter play. But we won't spend too much time on that. I just want to tell you that Mile High Stadium, which is now called Empower Field, is an awesome place to visit. This was actually my second visit there. This time I spent more time enjoying Denver. Shout out to Nuff Said Tailgate, and Old School and Mrs. Old School is such awesome host of a tailgate and just great people to know who are fans of loyal fans of that at that nature of the Houston Texans. Now look, we know this is not a Houston Texans show, so don't worry guys. You're listening to me just talk more about visiting Denver than the game. I won't bring up too many things about that. So I did have some fun photo moments. You should go check out my TikTok and my reels on Instagram at the Gransberry, and you can see some little snippets of my trip. I have some other things to share from you, including my visit up to the top of a mountain. That was
Mm,
pretty cool too. So I'm going to share those things later this week. But
sweet.
getting into week 3, the matchups are pretty weak this week. And I only say that because of the play we've seen from the first 2 weeks. I mean, yes, there's plenty more football to play. I think a lot of fan bases are kind of disappointed in their teams these first couple of weeks and looking for some improvements. And then some of us are seeing kind of what we expected. So, D. Jones, before we get into the games we're going to talk about, just go ahead and run down that get them out the way list for me.
For sure. We will start this week's Get 'em Out the Way picks with Thursday night Pittsburgh versus Cleveland. You and I picked Cleveland. Coach went solo with Pittsburgh. The next one, we all picked Kansas City to take out Indianapolis. Coach and I picked Minnesota over Detroit. Stadium Queen goes solo. Gransberry solo with the Detroit pick. We all picked Baltimore over New England, Cincinnati over the Jets, Philly over Washington, New Orleans to beat Carolina, the Chargers to beat Jacksonville, the Rams to take out Arizona, and Seattle to win at home against Atlanta. That's how I get them out the way picks. Let's get into the real things.
All right, guys. So getting right to it. Well, there was some unfortunate news out of San Francisco this weekend. Trey will not be finishing the season for his team, and it looks like the GMs made a smart decision to ensure themselves with an opportunity at their backup. We all know that I'm not the biggest fan of Jimmy G. Jimmy G equates to like a Paul George to me in basketball. Like he's gonna have an
Ooh.
amazing, he's gonna have an amazing season. He's gonna have amazing stats. He can win some games and have some awesome plays, and then he gonna let you down. That I mean, we could just pick a year. It's the same story. And look,
That's
the
disrespectful
easiest
to Paul George.
look
That's so disrespectful.
the easiest thing to do is tell me how my team hasn't reached these level of accolades and all of these different
What are you
histories.
talking
But we're
about?
not. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about how I see the current team, and that's what I think he's going to do. He's going to get them all reared up and high almighty, and then boom, let them down. And I, I foreshadow this every time. I keep telling you guys. So when he proves me wrong, then you can like come at me. But until then, he's the great regular season guy. So even with him being the great regular season guy, and after I said all of that and headed into Denver, I still think the 49ers are better coached and a better organization and team right now than Denver. And I believe they will go into Denver and win. Furthermore, even the Denver fans could not be that excited about their win because they even said had it been any other team playing them in Denver, they would have lost. Right? Because
Mm.
most teams would have been able to at least hold on to their win.
If
Okay.
they had any other quarterback, they was going
Well,
against
I
any other
mean,
quarterback. Well, no,
that's
that's just me.
and I
That's
mean,
just me.
no,
But go
but
ahead.
the point is, I don't disagree with that only because
Hmm.
I feel like for whatever comments people are seeing about the defense, it's being associated with the fact of being on the field so much. But we'll get to that when we get to their game. I just want to make it clear that I am going to pick the 49ers to go on the road into Mile High and get a win. Why? You know what? There are three things I saw this weekend in Denver that one they really need to stop, but these are three things that I saw from fans that are they're still fickle. They're not a strong fan base as far as supporting the team. They get a little weak. They don't get strong behind every third down. They don't get aggressive in cheering and supporting their team and creating more of an energy to get false starts and offsides. Those
Hmm.
things matter. The reason why that mattered in Seattle is because the fans put such pressure on the opposing team. Now, from that, I don't know what happened or who started this trend of counting down the play clock to your quarterback at home. Sounds like a great thing to do defensively, but not to your own offense. Now, I get why all of the awesome delay of games in Seattle, but you're discounting the fact of one of the loudest fan bases creating that energy. That doesn't mean that your quarterback doesn't know how to count the play clock and he's not familiar enough with getting the ball off. He also is dealing with a new coach that's not really there either. And two, I do agree with Mr. Gonzalez that there were a ton of people getting high at the game. And I think high fans are a different kind of fandom. I've seen it in a few states now, but it was definitely some contact high going on in Denver for a lot of people. And they just didn't get it. Like there were people behind me who didn't get that offsides by the defense benefited the home team Broncos. So there was the fans are kind of iffy there for me. So I just
Hmm.
believe the 49ers can go on the road. They're a better ran organization. Their team is already comfortable with Jimmy, right? They know him. So this isn't a hard adjustment for them. And people keep forgetting there's so many new things in Denver, but the trifecta. You got a new coach, new owner, new quarterback. Those things do matter. Everybody just keeps thinking it's a plug and play and he's not the Russ of Seattle. Nobody's the anything of anything where they came from, right? So even when Tom Brady showed up to Tampa and was winning, he wasn't the exact same Tom that had just left the Patriots, and nor was his team. Now I know he has some familiar faces, but that's about it, right? He has some familiar faces. But name
You feeling
somebody
this?
else. I'm
You
sorry.
feeling it? You feeling this game?
Oh, I'm feeling it. I just want
You
y'all to
going?
know. Feeling it. So I mean, I'm sad because I had this discussion during the game, and it's like people are like in this awe of like the Denver team, and I'm like, let's just remove Russ. What was the team before that? What was the team before that? And what was the team before that?
Yeah,
Okay, not a team. So D Jones, tell me your pick since I got all of that out. I got that off my chest.
yeah.
Please,
You ran
please
it.
stop counting the play clock.
You got a Jimmy G rant. You got a Denver fan rant. You got a. It was a lot. So out of all of that, the main thing that I agree with, not I agree with a lot of what you said, but the main thing is that San Francisco is better coached right now. I think the coach is really, you say who started that? The coach started that by getting plays in late, by not being on the same page as his quarterback. To you, they should them two should know how long it take a play to run and call timeout or do whatever you need to do, get the plays in quicker so that you're not getting in delay of games. And I mean, false starts are false starts. That's on the player. Delay of games this many and watching how late they get their play calls in, that's on the coach. So I think that's what really starts that. I'm not mad at the Denver fans because I would be just as frustrated. If we continue to see that, I'm counting down too. Evidently, y'all can't see the clock. Let me give it to you. So I understand what you're saying as far as it helping the defense by creating noise, but evidently being quiet ain't helping them get the playoff quicker. So it's like I get it, but
I
I
don't want to
think
be the dead horse. I don't want to be the dead horse, but I
yeah,
want to be
you
fair and use a few facts and statistics. Since I
mhm.
have been to every, and I repeat, every single
Okay, you got to
stadium.
stunt. You ain't got to stunt. Just say
No, no, it's just
it.
it's just before you state something, you want to
No,
go
go
ahead
ahead.
and support it, right?
Go
So
ahead.
since I
Yeah.
have been to every single stadium, and I
Mhm.
can tell you, I've been to Seattle's loud fan base, Kansas
Yeah.
City's loud fan base, and even the Texans with a closed stadium fan base, and understand the ability to create a delay of game, and even the infamous Dallas game 8 years ago, where we were so loud that even Tony Romo was complaining about it in his press conference. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are times I understand if you were in a moment of frustration, you would maybe think about counting the play clock. And even then, not a single team of fan base did that. So
No.
their frustration and they misapplied it. And it might be like Mr. Gonzalez said, being high. He's at home now. This wasn't his second home game. And they
No.
were
I get it. I get it. I get. I
I
and I
don't
do.
want to
I don't
I don't want to
disagree
give
with
any
what you're
respect to
saying.
that. I don't want to give any respect to that because I don't want it to be a trend.
We not talking about we can talk about this game way too long for this to be our first game. But I can't stand how every game I watch on TV, every stadium I've been to, not all of them, only 13, but every stadium I've been to, when the home team goes forward on fourth down, people decide to cheer. And I'm like, when did it change? They need to concentrate. So I get it, and I agree with you, but I also agree with you that San Fran gonna win this game. So let's go to the next
All right. Well, the next one would be Vegas versus Tennessee. And Tennessee's at home. Tennessee is supposed to be the favorite right now in the AFC South. At this point, they should be looking at trying to go 3-0. They blew week one.
one.
They blew week one. They were winning.
I don't think 3-0 was ever in their cards with Buffalo on the schedule week 2. But go ahead.
No, 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 no. I said looking to try to go 3-0.
That's what I'm saying.
They
I
could
don't
have
think
been
with Buffalo.
no, no, no. I didn't say expecting to get it, but you're supposed to look forward to it. I mean, after we saw the Buffalo
Okay,
week one, you would definitely change your mind, right? You would just
that
go
was
ahead and put an
that
X.
was a
So right. We definitely had an L for them for week 2 after what they did to the Rams. Okay.
yeah.
But we didn't expect it to look like that. Okay.
No, no,
Um,
I'm with you.
that was pitiful, guys. That was pitiful. That's all I'm gonna say. That was pitiful. But I do think that Tennessee's going to regroup. You know, they're not badly coached. I mean, and I don't know how much of you guys watched the game Monday or gave up on the game. Even with the point total just racking up against them, it just was like at that point, everything was going against them. Right? Nothing was working for them. And as Derek so politely told us when we were chatting about the game, he was like, this is a game you throw the tape away. You literally just don't try to watch the tape because the tape won't help you. I mean, the fumbles were just so like, I mean, there's always fumbles, right? But the coach tried to change the punter and then another fumble. I mean,
the returner, you talking about the punt returner?
Yes, he changed the punt returner. Same outcome. They recovered that one, but same outcome. My point is, everything was just going wrong for them. And I will say this to my lovely division opponents: you scored 7 more points than us. So I mean, you know, we took a 41-0 on the head in the rain.
Let's not talk about the Texans. Let's just talk about Tennessee and the Vegas.
Yeah. So I think Tennessee can find them a win. What you think? Well, as long as Tannehill's not hurt, look, I expect the Raiders to do just what they did with Arizona, find a way to lose. But D.Jones?
I'm going Tennessee 0-3 this week. I'm saying Vegas. Tennessee lost their starting left tackle. They're gonna try to run. They're gonna try to run, and they're gonna run. But if they get down, I got you. If they get down, I don't see them. They're not built to play from behind, and so I'm thinking Vegas on this. And look like Coach Jones. I got Coach's picks. We didn't say Coach pick on the first one. San Fran, Coach also picked San Fran on the first game, and he also picked Vegas on this game.
I think I'm gonna pick Vegas. So I forgot they don't have no left tackle. I don't know how they're gonna run.
You flipping that?
I'm flipping that.
Flip it. Yeah. So we all got Vegas on this.
I flipped it before we got off.
No, you straight. Okay. I ain't tripping on it.
I forgot about the left tackle. But
yeah, I think we all go Vegas on this. I'm thinking Vegas.
Okay. And Gonzalez, Tannehill not hurt. Maybe his pride, but there was nothing hurt about him. It was just time to bench him.
He just looked horrible. He was, as James Gentry said, Tannehill was Tannehill. he was just being Tannehill. But they not built. He's not built to bring you up from behind. He's not built to win a game for you, as we talked about last week and every other game that we talked about. Tannehill, he's good when he has a running game and he can run off a play action and he can pass off play action. So if they got to play from behind, it's not a lot of play action that you got from behind. The defense is pinning their ears back and coming after him, and that's not his forte. So I think it may be similar this week, not to the same level of Buffalo, but I think they play from behind and then they lose.
Well, since I've spent so much time on the we factor, Houston versus Chicago. I'm gonna let you tell me your pick first.
I was about to say, you want me to go? Let me go first. So this is actually one of the few games that I feel like Houston has a chance to win. And it's really because of the running game and what I saw from Chicago's running defense last week against Green Bay. I think if Houston can get the running game going, that may help number 10. I don't even want to say his name right now. Their future backup quarterback. That may help him. And I think this is going to be one of the few games that I actually pick Houston to win. Now, officially on the pick'em that doesn't lock in until really tomorrow. This might change, but for the show right now, I'm picking Houston. But this is the one game I keep flip-flopping. I'm not sure which way I want to go with this one. So
I think
I'm gonna say Houston.
Yeah, I think you had a slight disadvantage on me in that because I haven't had time to watch the 22 on Chicago and Green Bay, mainly because that's when I was headed to the airport and flying. So I'm not really privy to how that game looked other than the score. And we definitely
game, they was gashing them. They was
but I'm just saying
Jones was getting like 9 yards.
Okay, and then week 1 doesn't give me much because it was such a bad game.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's just as long as we are not making any changes under center mentally, I just believe that there's an inability to stay on top 4 quarters. I think it's more psychological than anything. Now, don't get me wrong. There were some times there were other players dropping balls. I get it that there were good balls, right? But that
they don't
were
have to stay on
thrown.
top 4 quarters. They just gotta be on top at the end of the last quarter.
Okay, whatever way you want to say it. I mean, that's fine. I just but yeah, I just don't want them to start 0-3. I mean, well, they can't start 0-3 because they got a tie. I just don't want them to go 1-2. But 0-2.
Say, just consider this as well, right? If the Titans lose, we all pick Kansas City. We all pick Kansas City to beat Indianapolis. We all think the Chargers are going to beat Jacksonville. If Houston can pull out a win, they'll be at the top of the division. Yeah.
Look, ew. Okay, we got till tomorrow to decide on that pick. You know, that's just pretty sad. God dang it, that's just pretty.
Hey, salute. He can overthrow Shaq. I mean, dude, his forte is supposed to be accuracy.
My boy stutter. He don't even have a speech impediment. You're making him stutter.
He's supposed to be accurate. If it's one thing he's supposed to do well is be his accuracy, right? The way he ended the season last year, you at least took that into the season.
I did,
and I
did.
You know what? I heard something this morning, and I have to agree with it. And we can go to the next game. The way he started the first game, everything has changed since that sack fumble. Everything has changed since that sack fumble.
Ever since that sack fumble, what did I tell you? Even in the stands.
Yeah. Oh, it was in his head. No, it's gone. Yeah, it's in his head. It's mental. For sure. I'm with you on that.
It's either he terrified to get hit again like that, or he's so afraid of being hit. If he can't make the play, he just holds. I
think he's scared to throw an interception. Because I don't think it's like he doesn't have the car. He doesn't have the car fear because he stands there. He doesn't have the car fear where he's running out or he's throwing it real quick. He's throwing it to where they really can't catch it because he's scared the other team might catch it. I think he's scared of the turnover. But hey, that's our future backup. So we good. We good.
That's an interesting name. The future backup. Interesting.
Yeah, that's our future backup.
Well, we're gonna move. I don't even know what to say. We're going to move on to Monday Night Football game is Dallas versus New York. And Dallas got him a win last week on a hangover Super Bowl team. Okay. And I don't think they're going to win 2 in a row.
Okay.
But in New York, I don't know. Night game outside. I'm gonna hold with New York for right now.
I'm with you. Keep going.
I'm holding for New York. I just think Barkley and them at home, they're gonna have a good showing. And speaking of quarterback differences, I just think that Mac Jones, all he gotta do is just play. Huh?
Daniel.
I didn't mean to say Mac. That's a Patriots quarterback, right?
Yeah, I'm with you.
They all Jones. Good Lord, I didn't realize that till just now. Daniel, right?
Hey, what's wrong with y'all? Everybody want to be like
Jones. No offense, Mr. Jones. My bad. I didn't mean it that way. I
mean, they're not really representing us right now very well. Daniel's doing all right, but
yeah, but Daniel. So anyway, my bad about that, Daniel. No, I don't even want to put you in a category like that. But my point is, I think he plays a more consistent game than from what. Even with Rush being, I don't know what he gonna be. Like, I just can't say on the road he'll be there. And look, everybody that's picking it because of the defense, let's not forget, they had an amazing defensive game against Tampa. They was getting some amazing plays. But if you can't stop the other team from finding a way to score, it really don't matter how great your defense is, you know? And honestly, it's giving me that vibe. And look, you can take it for what it's worth, but it's giving me that vibe of those years where we had JJ Watt and he would just be the lead defensive player. He can make amazing plays. He had your defense looking awesome, and then your offense can't score. Now all you got to do is score more points than the other team, but the other team is not lacking a quarterback
Well,
or a run game.
what they're going to end up having is the bad combination of um, an anemic offense on their part and then a run game on the other side. So even if they defense hold and bend don't break, over time that run game and Saquon Barkley is looking pretty good right now. Over time, I think that run game wears that defense down, and so it's gonna be who can perform.
It's the same way Tampa Bay beat them. That's what Tampa Bay did to them.
When they tired, yeah, for sure.
Shout out to Girl Chat Sports. Girl Miss Threats just said hello. They got an awesome show out of Vegas. They just got through celebrating yesterday, watching the Aces win their first WNBA championship. Shout out to Masara Aja. But anyway, we picking the Giants. Who did Coach Pat pick?
Coach picked the Giants as well.
Okay. Now, guys, I know all of you watching are not in our Pick'em League, but before we move on to that, let me finish. Miss Stress wanted to tell us that girl, it was lit at the Aces championship rally. I'm sad I wasn't there. I'm still gonna get down and get a game with y'all. I finally got my hoodie. So I haven't been able to debut it yet, but I have my WNBA hoodie. I have the orange one and the black one. That orange one was so hard to get my hands on, but I finally got me an orange one and a black one. So I put my money where my mouth is and spend some money and support the WNBA. I might buy some tickets next year and just give them away since we don't have a team. I wouldn't be able to travel consistently enough to get to the games, but I still got the WNBA back. Hey, so Coach picked the Giants, but let me get back to Coach and talk about this disastrous fantasy pick'em league he's in with us. He's somewhere at the bottom with his taking chances, but if I want to tell y'all what name Coach Pat is using, so he is Coach Pat on the show, and the next thing we know, was it Coach Big Sexy?
Big Sexy something. I think it is Coach Big Sexy. Yeah.
I was like, okay, see, he trying to tell y'all he not into entanglements, but why is he naming himself Big Sexy Coach in the pick'em? Like, why do we need to look at that? Like, what happened?
He trying to get them single mothers on the AAU team.
And Big Sexy. Okay, that is exactly what he named himself. I'm not making this up, guys, and that's why he can't focus. Because he's too busy trying to have a sexy name in the Pick'em League, in the co-ed Pick'em League. All these guys got to read that name on the list. Okay, I guess he wanted to be clear who he is at the bottom. And he done named himself that. Okay, so we gonna move on. I just had to bring that because I meant to mention it last week. And we'll talk about it next week when you back, B, if you don't make it back tonight. But anywho, yeah, that's his name. That's his name. Yeah. Big Sexy. So anyway, moving on. I'm looking forward to seeing Green Bay versus Tampa. It's always a fun game to see these two play because one, this is Q from Beyond the Game, Kentucky's team and D.Jones' team, and it was so cool to see them going head to head a year or so ago when Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl. Well, really 2 seasons at this point, but you know what I mean. As far as playoffs, it really was a year or so ago. When it's not fully 2 years yet, and it was just an exciting time because we thought these two, long history, great quarterbacks, it was going to be such a battle, and I think it's more the same. It's a long flight. Once again, I think Tampa Bay's team is more structured, more organized, more together as a unit right now than Green Bay. And I'm going to give the edge to the home team after they just had a rowdy weekend with the Saints in New Orleans. I think they're looking forward to more football, less punching. And that's my pick. I'm going with
Well,
Tampa Bay.
well, what you just said segues into my pick. I think the loss of Mike Evans
Okay.
this week is gonna come in handy for my pack.
Okay.
Especially if Julio is still injured and not able to get out there. I think that's
Oh, Julio
gonna
not
impact
playing
them.
either?
He was out last week, and so far on the
Well, they
injury
didn't need
report
him
this week,
last
I
week
think
against
he's
the
been out.
Saints.
I think they probably did need him. I mean, they didn't start really moving against the Saints until after Mike got out, but Mike and Lattimore got kicked out. But I'm going Green Bay here. I'm going Green Bay on the road, really just because of that. I think they're going to be missing some weapons. Of course, this is a trap. I ain't gonna call it a trap game. It's a game that they can lose, but I think Green Bay goes in and really, like I just said, I'm picking it because Mike being out and then the uncertainty of the receiver core for Tampa Bay health.
They did just sign Beasley, but I don't think he's playing this week.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I'm just saying I don't think he's playing this week. I
No,
think
I'm
that
with you.
tells me that they
That's
might.
what depth.
Yeah,
that's what depth. So you had Godwin and
I think
Julio
Godwin might be out a little longer, so that's why they
Yeah,
picked up Cole Beasley.
and Julio was still kind of questionable as of yesterday. I mean, we'll see what it's like by the weekend, but yeah, I think the Pack get this done. Go Pack, go.
Okay, I mean that's not a bad pick. I can agree with your points, and I'm still gonna stick with my pick on that one. I don't think that's
No,
one
it's
I'm
fair.
gonna shaky
No,
on.
it's fair.
I
That
think
should be.
either way you look at it, it's some
It's a good game.
good points on that. Yeah, I'm hoping it's a great game actually.
Yeah.
Wish we could move that 49ers Denver game out of their time slot, but that's a different story for another day. And let's get to what we've decided is our game of the week. It's Buffalo versus Miami. Miami's coming off a 21-point comeback win in the fourth quarter. Just just beautiful football going on right now in Miami. And Buffalo, look, all three sides of the ball is balling. Okay. And I think them going into Miami, both teams 2-0, somebody coming out a loser. Look, the weather's cool and nice in Buffalo. That Miami Heat is no joke. And one thing that they have done with these outdoor sunny state stadiums is the visiting team is in the sun all freaking game. And I don't mean just getting sunlight. I mean burning down on you. You're going to need plenty of water and everything else. So
Remember we went to the Charger game in the soccer stadium. It was like that too. They had it strategically where they was in the shade and the sun was just beaming down on
Broncos Stadium is the same way. So Broncos Stadium is that way. The Dolphins Stadium is that way. But the Dolphins Stadium is to the point where it's even unbearable for fans, right? And you can almost time it and know when the sun is going to shift and move for what part of the game. Luckily, I was in the right end zone for Denver, and so I didn't have the, burn down on me moment. Wow. But just over this season already, there have been some tough moments in Miami when Jackson State played FAMU there. The band was having so many members pass out due to heat exhaustion and everything like that they just recommended them not to even return to their seats. So we're talking severe heat that Buffalo will be in. But I think Josh and Diggs got it. So I'm still going with Buffalo on the road. I love division matchups. Love it. But I'm going to give this one to the road team.
Yeah, you know how I feel about division matchups. You made some great points. Yeah, I almost made me switch my pick. Talking about the Heat and Buffalo, but I think Buffalo is just such a problem this year. I don't see them making some of the same mistakes that a normally solid defense in Baltimore made last week with the safety depth and letting Tyreek get bombed and Waddle do his thing. Tua looked great. Shout out to Tua. I just think that Buffalo defense and that offense is just so much of a problem right now. I think they the only team that I look on the schedule and say they're complete right now. And if they, it's scary because there's so much season left. I'm not sure it's only one way for them to go. I don't see how they can get better. They're either going to maintain or get worse. Hopefully not worse, but as long as they look in the way that they're looking, man, they just solid. So I gotta go with Buffalo.
Well, I was more so sharing the fun fact about Miami Stadium and how the heat affects things. But considering this Buffalo is a division opponent, they're familiar, right? And so
True.
I think as an
True.
organization, they're in a better position that is not a disadvantage for them per se.
Fair.
It's just
Fair.
something I wanted to note that plays into, the games. But for
Yeah.
Buffalo, I think they're still on equal footing. It's no different than, like I said, New England would go down there. They've had to play in the heat too. So, and they've
Yeah.
had tight games. Um,
Yeah.
I
Good point.
think also what I'm hoping for is this may be the game right now that they'll look, if there's such a phrase, the most normal this season thus far. And I say that because, like I said, division opponents are always a tough game, and
Sure.
then the heat. So maybe they'll look a little slowed down. I just think that they're like you said, it's not even so much that they are a problem, because they are, but they're just such a cohesive unit at this point. It's like they
Yeah.
literally took out pen and paper and said, where did we fail last year on the field? Not in the in the play calling, not in the coaching, but on the field. Okay, let's plug this spot. Okay, let's plug this spot. And then the mindset of the team is there. And I think that's a difference in when you really get down to it. And one of the things that people have always respected about Belichick, he would get his teams into the mindset of winning and what we need to do. And I feel like last year, that's also what the Rams did. Like, how many times do you want to keep coming close? How many times do you want to fail at this moment? And your coach having the ability to put you in the mindset of, you keep hanging so close to the dangled carrot, when are you going to grab it? Right. And so he kept chucking at the pieces. And I think that's what the mindset Buffalo is in. We know Diggs wants it. He's tired of watching the championship ceremonies. We know Josh was hurt after he got all the way up to get that score and then watch Kansas City come and steal it from him with seconds left in the game. So I just think as a team, they're mentally locked in. And when you have championship pedigree like Von Miller coming into your locker room, you immediately can gravitate and hold on to it, and you're just going to go. So for me, they're going to play a great game, but I think this will be the game they look, like I said, the most normal that they could look for a team. So when you talk about get up, I think that's a very important point, because you could get up and you can get stagnant. But tough division games will give you that push, because they're not really right now. The AFC, we talk about these amazing quarterbacks, Mahomes and Burrow and Lamar, and now we thought Russ, all these offensive kings, and Deshaun when he returns. But right now, who is really going to push them? Who's their push?
Well,
So
they got to look at it as, we don't have no push. It's about us, and we got to put our foot on your throat and keep it there.
exactly. And so that's why I said they
is.
got the right locker room right now to give you that push.
Yeah, agree.
That's what I think. And I want to give a shout out to my earrings, my beautiful earrings. Yes. I will be selling these earrings. Y'all see them? They're gorgeous, aren't they? Yes, your ladies will love them. Yes. Yes.
Sure.
You don't have to have a crown to wear them. But yes, I just thought I'd bring that up. Did you say sure?
I said good job. I said it was great. Great product placement. Good job.
Look, man, it really kind of sucked not having our boy big sexy coach on. D. Jones won't be calling him that, so let me return to Coach.
No,
B.Pat, we
I'm a
missed
grown
you
ass
tonight.
man.
We missed you tonight, but in due fashion, I want to make sure we remind everyone you took home the last place award again. It's so fitting for you. It seems that you like it there, but once again, Coach Pat, we know you know like taking chances, and your chances are not paying off. And shout out to Dwayne Johnson. He was 8-8 last week, and you know he probably not watching tonight, but he's hilarious. He plays with us every year, but he has an amazing point of thinking he has these great enlightened picks. They're not. They're not.
Mm.
They're not enlightened. Another funny moment. I had the pleasure of field passes this past weekend. Shout out to OSMG Sports Management. I really appreciated those, Corey. Right on time. Right on time. And someone asked me again about the crown, but this time it didn't make sense. He literally said, "Aren't you supposed to be in London?" And I said, "I'm sorry." He was like, the queen. I said, the queen is dead. I'm alive. He was like, oh, yeah, right. That don't make sense. Like, he was overthinking it and he went too far. He went too
Mm.
far. So, look, proper etiquette. You can ask me what the crown is for, but do not assume what the crown is for. Okay. Because I'll be more than
So,
glad to tell you. But assuming is really not looking great on some people. It's not looking great at all. So, D. Jones, you got anything for the crowd before we shut down and move on and look forward to week 3? Shout out to my
no,
nephew, Macaulay McKellar, though, because he turned 17 this week. He had
happy
his
birthday, man.
first interception last week in his high school Friday Night Lights. I'll be watching him under the lights. Go to Soto U.
It was pretty acrobatic too, man. We need to
Woo,
have some
man.
highlight
Look.
film on that. That was pretty
So
nice.
so make sure you follow me because I'm gonna share it in my story and on Twitter. When I tell you he had some leaps and bounds for that interception, when they say you went up and got it,
Yeah,
he
he
went up
went and
and
got it.
got it. He went and got
He
it.
high point. He high pointed it. He high pointed it. But
All
shout
right, y'all.
out. You can find me on Instagram at djones9804, on Twitter that boy D Jones. Been a great show.
Did you say it's been a great show? We all know
Yeah.
where you can find me at. It's the Gransberry. I try not to keep, be difficult. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Make sure you follow on YouTube. We
Please,
need you. We need you.
please follow,
And
like, share.
yes, please do. And we will look forward to seeing how week 3 plays out. Shout out to everybody that gets their picks in on time. And look, if you don't get your picks in on time, obviously your points will suck. And we will feel no sympathy for you because the prizes will still go out. So, Carlton Berry, you want a t-shirt, a I Love Gransberry podcast t-shirt, you need to get with me so I can ship that to you. And as always, we'll catch you next time.